Hey out there, everybody, and welcome to CaffiNation519. This is the Fit to be Tied edition here at the CaffiNation Podcast. We are both just a little bit punchy. It's been a long week, and it's only halfway through. Am I right there, Steve?
That is correct.
We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. This episode, however, is more than a little odd because it kind of came together at the last minute. We have a lot of other fun stuff that usually happens beforehand. We even usually talk a little bit more about things beforehand. But we are live over at live.CaffiNation.com. So if you're free Wednesday evening, roughly around 9:30, I don't think we've started at 9:30 for a couple weeks, actually. No. So if you're free roughly around 9:30, we'll roughly start around 9:30. This is the CaffiNation Podcast, so if you're looking for it, any and all of its fun stuff can be found over at www.CaffiNation519.mp4.com. We are a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All of the member shows have agreed to create child-safe, family-friendly, and educational content. Everybody is listed over at CaffiNation.com. I am Paul.
This is Steve.
And we are ready to give you the high-octane world of caffeine culture, technology news, and a fun new little segment that's going to be debuting in a little bit. What are we calling it?
We're calling it Steve's World.
You had to look it up. It's named after you.
I know. Well, you know what?
Oh my God. You know, it's hard to find good help these days. How do you do it with this slob running the show?
Well, I'd say caffeine.
So that's how you keep up with
That's
me?
how I keep it up.
Okay. Because I'm not calling you the problematic child here. I think it's more than my fault.
Well, as long as you don't click on something that shuts down the whole operation.
Yeah, well, maybe if you said it a little bit louder, it would actually happen again. So why don't you just go a little easy on that, all right? Okay, we have a fun little show lined up for you today. We're going to do the normal rundown. We're just going to shoehorn a little fun production halfway through. We're going to call that Steve's World, because Steve has some fun, interesting facts he likes to share with the group.
That's right.
So, what did you do, Geeky, this week, good sir?
I went out and bought myself a Kindle Fire.
Would you like to show the group the Kindle Fire?
I will show the group, as you can see. The Kindle Fire.
That is fantastic. We're going to actually switch to the Steve cam just so we can see the wonderful majesty of the Kindle Fire in and of itself. Now,
does that work?
Sort of, more than a little bit. It says the CaffiNation.
That's right.
Fantastic job there. Fantastic job. All right, we're going to switch off the Steve cam because we got to have a better angle for that one. Angle for the dangle on that one.
That's right.
So if you're looking for the podcast, I already told you where you can find it. But I haven't told you how you could comment. Any feedback, suggestions, listener emails, anything you'd like to shoot our general direction, please do so by calling 215-240-1319. Twitter.com/CaffiNation. You can email me directly at paul@CaffiNation.com.
Or you can get me at steve@CaffiNation.com.
And that's all we really want to know. We really want to know how you can reach out and touch somebody.
That's right.
It works. It really does. So, we have a bunch of fun stuff to talk about. Geeky this week for me, unfortunately, I got pretty much nothing. I've been running around like a chicken with my hair on fire. Chickens don't have hair.
No, not at all.
So, that's flub number one for me. It's going to be a good show. Going to be a great show. I gotta tell you though, I mean, there were geeky things that happened in work, but I don't know if I can lay claim to that geek. It's like I took apart a laser cutter today. That was kind of fun.
Sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting, except for the fact that, it was really just a bunch of screws. Like, it was like the lens that holds it in. It's like this really complicated thing, but you could basically beat it together with, just a couple screwdrivers and an Allen wrench set. And it just so happens that somebody in the factory got a little overzealous and tightened one thing too much, and the whole lens was stuck in the thing. So I don't actually play with the laser. The laser comes in this giant cartridge that just sits in the back. It's like, thump, pew. It'd be awesome if it actually made that noise, but it doesn't. I might actually have to change our sound effects on the machine so that when you go to cut, it goes pew, pew, pew. Maybe for the entire time that it takes to cut your job, it should just do that repeatedly, and people will cut less and less. But
probably.
The other fun thing was almost entirely awesomely geeky, but it didn't turn out to be. We have a CNC router, which is a computer numerically controlled router, so it basically cuts things in 3 dimensions. It's really, really awesome. It's 4 feet by 4 feet. The computer just would not accept the software, so I didn't even get to see it do anything really awesome. And then we were missing some other pieces for some other things, so the smaller version of the same thing that we have wasn't able to do anything either. So It was almost really cool, and we're going to do some fun stuff to test it out, further on down the road. Like, we found out we could basically put like a block of wood on the table and have it cut a guitar out of a block of wood.
Wow.
So that's going to be cool, and I need to learn how to play it. But I mean, that's all kinds of well and good, but it didn't really happen. So it was kind of like the week of Almost Geek. So, all right, we're going to dive right into the fun stuff that we got going for you here. The first thing that I want to talk about is Pinterest is exploding. I didn't start out on it. You couldn't really see the point of it. You didn't really do very much on it.
No.
My wife has been addicted to this thing for months. And she gave me an invite. This is probably the first and only time that I've ever had to ask her for the invite to something crazy that's appeared online. So it's like, it's a real turnabout. And the only reason that I actually thought it's going to be a really useful social network is because it didn't come out of the tech sector. It's not something where a lot of people were sitting there going, oh, if you use this particular formula, you could fargle your SEO bargles up into making sure that your site gets pushed higher and higher. Because that's not what actually works on Pinterest. Pinterest people share things that are fun and cheap and easy to do around the house, or ways to save money by doing other things. It's really rudimentary and simple content, primarily visually oriented. Right. So it's not like you could go on there and I'm going to push an episode every time we do it, because that's not something that people would care about, and I'd probably get unfollowed by a lot of people. So, but it's like when I put a poster out, you can be sure that I'm probably going to put it up on Pinterest if I think it's good enough. And it's really interesting when people reshare the stuff that's on there. But, like a lot of social networks that are out there, nobody's really sure how they make money. Like, Facebook doesn't charge, except for the fact that every once in a while somebody puts around that fun little status update. If you don't repost this to 40 of your friends and slap a monkey, then Facebook is going to start charging. But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, well, how are they really making your money? Well, they're selling your personal details to advertisers. That's how they're really doing it. But Pinterest has actually found another fun way. Not only are they really early on in the whole game of making a social network actually pay, but they're making it work, because what they're doing is they're scraping any product link that you have on there, and they're actually turning it into an affiliate link for them, which is interesting. It's a great way to actually monetize their network. The only problem is that you who are doing the sharing aren't getting any cut of the affiliate. And let's just say you found a really cool product on Amazon and you put your affiliate link in there. It would override your affiliate link by putting theirs.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of those things where since they didn't disclose that they're doing it, it seems a little bit on the hinky side.
Right.
I mean, I talked to my wife about this, and she says, I don't care, can I still use it? I was like, yeah, okay. It's not like she's going out and buying things directly from the website, and I don't really think that that's the way that the site is going to move down the road, because I don't see a lot of sales generated from it. I see more interest and more traction generated,
right,
but I don't see sales directly, so I kind of think it's interesting. I wanted to share it with the group and see what other people say out there. And the funny thing is, this is actually written by Cecily Kellogg, one of the people we met at PodCamp Philly. She was one of the ones who did the media kit session. So, really awesome woman, and she has a really good and interesting slant on the whole Pinterest thing. So, you just wanted to share with the group. I know there's a lot of people out there who love Pinterest, and the funny thing about it is, well, it's not even funny. It seems primarily focused on women. There's very few men who have a decent amount of followers on there, and I'm only just started. I'm not even saying, hey, I'm internet famous, why don't I have more followers? I'm only getting followers because friends of mine on Facebook are showing up there, and you only get in through Facebook or Twitter. So if you're getting in one way or another, and you search for your friends that are on there, I'm already there. It's very organic in how it's growing.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I like every other day I'll get, this person's following on Pinterest, this one's following. It's like, okay, well, enjoy. There's nothing there.
Yeah, well, nothing there for you. I keep finding awesome stuff. It's just, the funny thing is, I have two kinds of posts that come my way. I have guys who either email me or talk about it on Pinterest or Facebook and say, I don't know what I'm doing. And the ladies who are on there are like, this is fantastic, and they just run. And it's like, wow, that's blowing my mind. I mean, I understand it. I think it's really cool. And I keep unfollowing all the people who only put fashion stuff up there, because that's not interesting to me. Right. I think it's going to be better than Tumblr, because that's weird. Is it not showing up on the thing? I think it's going to be better on Tumblr, But it's it's one of those things. So we may or may not have just started the live feed. I don't entirely know what happens, but I'd like to thank Steve right off the bat because we've only gotten a little bit into it. So if you'd like to see the first half of the show or hear the first half of the show, then you're going to have to listen to the episode after the fact because we don't have time to loop back around to all that nonsense.
And that's at CaffiNation.com. CaffiNation.
Thank you. And yet another one time where I've messed up entirely. And I was wondering why we weren't getting a lot of traction with people actually there. All my fault. So if you are there in the room, I am incredibly sorry that you missed the fun little talk on Pinterest. But yeah, there's usually a little bit more traction on them. We're going to move on to the next story, and you can hear all the funniness about that over at CaffiNation.com after the fact. But here's the next thing that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about the Lord of the Ring project. Lord of the Ring project is probably one of the hugest examples of geekery, Tolkien or otherwise, that I've ever seen. This is a massive undertaking by one Lord of the Ring fan who I've seen his name put a bunch of different ways, so I'm just going to do the honors of just putting the information up and letting it ride with that. But he basically looked through every single character that was mentioned and every single lineage and actually went through all the appendices of Tolkien that Tolkien put, not only in the history of Middle-earth, the Homes, which I have 3 out of the 12 or 13 volumes, but he also went through the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. I mean, everything that you can possibly imagine is in there. And so he went through and said, okay, all of the Valar are these people. It's like Varda, Manwë, Mandos, Vare, Irmo, Esti, and I'm probably butchering all these names. And then they put all the different people that were the hosts of the Elven households up at the top, and where they came in the lineage. And since the Elves are the first people, they're up at the top. And then when you move down even further, there's people in here I've never heard of, and I am fairly in on the Tolkien mythology. There's a lot of stuff that I'm sitting there going, I'm pretty sure I know who Durin was. Durin's the original dwarf. Yeah, okay, we're all good with that. I knew all the way down to Thorin, King Under the Mountain, and Gloin and Oin, and all the way down there. But there's interesting and weird things that I really didn't understand. Just like some of the names that kind of are sitting off in the middle of nowhere. I was like, wow, that's really strange. There's actually all the hobbits that are put in there. I mean, everything. They even have a lineage of the dragons, and they're not directly connected to each other, but you can click on each one, and it actually will take you to the Tolkien Gateway. So if you don't know who Glorung is, he's actually happens to be one of the chiefest and the first of the dragons. So you can go and they actually click, and they have a very extensive bit of information about this particular character and why he was, where the first instance of him. This is everything that a Lord of the Rings geek could ever possibly go, and it's just unbelievable.
That's dedication.
I think that's more than dedication. That's a little bit of Asperger's. I mean, that is like Rain Man style digging in on Lord of the Rings. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely going to visit back there, especially if there's a name that I don't remember as I'm rereading something, but it's just insane. It's awesome. So, all right, moving on to the next little fun thing. That was our Super Geek Lord of the Rings thing. This little style for your geekery. I know that I'm going to need all these posters. How about you?
Yeah.
I'm going to need a little bit more wall space, too. But what are we talking about here?
We're talking about is a bunch of posters that you would find at lilyfactory.fr. And what is this? Just this one girl who's dressed as all these different kinds of, I guess, the superheroes, right? Or
yeah, it's basically just her art, and she has all these different posters put up of the different fun little superheroes, and it's all over at Society 6, which I absolutely love. But this is her store. I think it's directly linked from what you're talking about, lilysfactory.fr, so she's French, or at least her website is. And but they have some of the most beautiful artwork that I've seen of things like Thor and the Hulk, which we're zooming in on right now, so you should be able to see. But they're really kind of negative space stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I especially like the Iron Man one. That's pretty neat. And all it is like you see the dark, you see a dark figure, and you see the symbol in the back, and of course you would have to know what it is.
Oh yeah, and it's these are one of the things like I actually think might even be better to have in a set, so it's not just like you'd buy the Captain America poster, or you would buy the Spider-Man poster, which we're going to show now. It's actually I think this would be cool to have like a DC set and like a Marvel set.
Yeah.
Of just like really iconic characters all throughout. So I think it's pretty awesome.
And we were both discussing this earlier, and you were right about one thing. The Superman poster, that's iffy. It's not as awesome looking as the rest of them.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about Superman. I like Superman as a character. I think he's really interesting. He's hard to eat. The whole. What is it, Kill Bill, where he goes on the long rant about how Superman, his secret identity is the normal person. And that's true in certain aspects, but if you look at the colors that they use in Superman and a lot of the other things, for most people, he's a hard character to directly relate to. I guess because of his alien origins, or the fact that he's like the perfect man.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting. But, I mean, I love the flawed superheroes. I love the Green Lanterns. I love the Iron Man and the Batman. I mean, I'm so much more of a Batman guy than I am a Superman guy. So that's just me. I think these prints are absolutely gorgeous. And for an 8x10, it's only $17, which isn't too bad at all.
No.
So, but if you have a specific and favorite out of all of them, you can just go in there for the full size, 28 by 38, and that's $45, and that's still not even bad when you consider like it's an original art.
Yeah.
So, all right, wanted to move along to the next fun little thing.
And it's another poster, which actually I love this design, and what this is just a what looks like a burned around the edges Legend of Zelda poster. And underneath, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this. And if you remember, that's from the first Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I do. Did you ever see the wedding proposal where he hacked into the game? Instead of saying it's dangerous to go alone, he said it was something like, "It's dangerous to go alone. Todd wants you to take this. Please turn around." And the guy had the ring.
Oh wow!
In like a little Legend of Zelda box.
That's awesome.
And it's like, wow, I could definitely see you pulling something like that off. But, it has to be the right kind of girl to accept that and say, oh, my God, that's so great, and get the vapors on that one. But, I mean, that's one of those things. It's like, I found all these really cool attempts to do, insert geekery into a marriage proposal.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I don't really think that would have worked for me.
No.
I mean, I like going the more traditional route. Asked beforehand. Asked your dad beforehand, and the whole 9 yards. Did it at a lovely little Christmas area, but it's one of those things where you go, all right, do I want to really get all my guy friends to think this is awesome, or do I want to? Well, maybe if it's the right girl. So it's my wife and I share a lot of things, and one of the things for the longest time was actually playing Mario Kart.
Right.
But certain things we shift around. Now it's Tetris more than anything. So a traditional and a geeky proposal. So we're hoping that one of our listeners in the room, Jen, actually says she hopes she gets a traditional and a geeky proposal. So yeah, there has to be a way of actually incorporating all of that in together. So find asking the father, doing the whole 9 yards, and then finding some way to make like a Lego chip on top of the diamond that you have to remove.
Yeah.
My dad did it with during Christmas with a box of with a ring box that had a walnut in it. And then my mom almost she did throw it at him, but then he kept trying to hand her a bag of walnuts, and she didn't want any walnuts. She was too ticked off at him until she finally realized a couple minutes later, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, later on my sister ate the walnut accidentally.
Oof.
That's many years after the whole proposal.
Wow.
I've actually seen Lego ring boxes, and they do exist. Obviously, I mean, you can make it yourself.
Yeah.
But I actually saw somebody make a Lego ring, and then the real ring was behind it. So
oh, wow.
I thought that was actually a little bit cooler, because it's like you open up the regular ring box and you see a Lego ring, and the girl's going to say, oh, wait, that's great. I really can't wear that. It's a little too chunky and bricky. But, it actually opened to reveal, the ring itself opened to reveal the ring, which is even cooler. So
that is, man.
All right. Moving on to the next slightly terrifying story.
Yeah.
So I'm a big on the science, and this takes science and it actually kind of spooks you a little bit. We're talking a little Jurassic Park going on here, but scientists have actually examined a Jurassic cricket. They have what was, I think it said it was actually a fossil that was preserved in amber, that they cut out of amber or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It was so delicately preserved that they were actually able to find the fin, not only the wings, but actually the ridges on the wings, and all these tiny little minute details on this massive insect comparatively. And they were able to recreate what a cricket sounded like from Jurassic time.
Oh, wow.
And that's just insane. I've tried to click on the sound a couple times, and the site appears to be down, but what they actually did was they took like an electron scanning microscope and actually scanned the ridges that they see and actually recreated through a 3D printer or something like that what that would actually create.
Wow.
Now, this is the kind of cool thing that I can't wait to see, because I've actually seen in kind of an aside, I've seen somebody actually take the nasal passages of a Sarlophilus or a duck-billed dinosaur,
yeah,
because they're supposed to be able to have this. They were supposed to make noises, like these honking noises or whatever it was.
Yeah. And
somebody actually created the cavity, much like in Jurassic Park where they create the vocal cavity for the Velociraptor, which is actually a Deinonychus. Don't know if you knew that.
No.
The Velociraptors were actually a little smaller. The Deinonychus is the one that when you actually look at the thing and it has the giant claw and it's ticking the claw on the floor, the Deinonychus actually means terrible claw. So that's the actual foot that looks like for that. The Velociraptor actually had much more of a bird-like foot.
And now you know.
The more you know. Ding. I think that's one thing that we really have to get going on around here. Have to have like a crank star that goes across whenever I do a stupid Mr. Rogers moment.
Let's get one of those windmills behind you, and you just hit a button.
All right. So it's one of those cool things that I just thought was really cool and wanted to pass along. By the way, in honor of the Lord of the Rings geek thing, I'm wearing my Gandalf shirt. I was wearing this in physical therapy today, and one of the guys looked over at me and said, "Oh my God, Alf! You have Alf on your T-shirt. Haven't seen that in but a minute." He's like, "That's great. Where'd you get it?" And I told him all about the website where I got it, which actually isn't a sponsor of the CaffiNation. It would be fantastic if they did. It's called teefury.com, Teefury.com. One new design every day, $9 a T-shirt. Really easy to get sucked in and start buying multiple shirts throughout the week and month, so I try not to go there unless it's really awesome. But once the shirt design's gone, it's gone. So sometimes the graphic designer, despite the fact that they're not really supposed to, will change slight things about it and list it at other sites, but it's usually never that cheap. So you go there for the first run awesome graphicness, like Gandalf.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
So it's a pun and a design at the same time. Okay. So it's like my perfect shirt.
It is. Perfect for you.
So there you go. You see, you wish you could have this shirt.
You know what? I dream about it every night.
I would give you the shirt off my back, but we would probably lose a lot of viewers.
Probably.
All right. Moving right along to the next little fun thing that we have, as if the terrifying Jurassic crickets weren't enough.
No.
We were not able to get the sound to play, just so that everybody knows you didn't miss it in the background or anything.
Unfortunately.
But as if we're not able to get that. But now we have the wonder of wonders.
A 53-foot tall bust of Optimus Prime, which is actually pretty terrifying.
That's awesome.
All made out of snow.
I mean, it's hard to really see the detail on some of the different things that we're talking about because it's white on white. It's snow.
Right, but I mean, you could see the head up at the top, middle. I mean, that's.
And I'll form the head. Wait, that's Voltron.
And I wish I could tell you where this is actually going to be debuting, but I'm not hacking that name because I just don't want to.
Okay, wait, where is it? I'll give it a go. Whoa. All right, maybe not. So that's in Japan, that's in the Japan because they call things prefectures. But I'm gonna say that it's a Ashikawa Hokkaido. Good enough for government work.
Oh yeah.
So I think we're just gonna call that one a day. But it's pretty awesome. I would love to see what that thing looks like in real life. Because I think China has a couple of the real-life Gundam statues that are actually like to scale. Like, I think it's like half scale, but still, a scale's a scale.
Yeah.
So it'd be pretty awesome. I know I've said this before, that there's one time some kid actually tried to print out a map of the city of Philadelphia on a 1-to-1 scale, which means that 1 foot of paper would have been 1 foot of the city. Philadelphia, we're not talking like Philadelphia, Oklahoma here. We're talking Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 5th/6th biggest city in the country, large metropolitan area, every curb in the city. So he printed it right out of one program that's all wireframe. So it was all lines. It wasn't even like a map. And I caught him as he came in for the second time to grab a ream of paper, 500 sheets. And he was like, I thought it was just printing out pieces. It was. There were some pages that were printing out blank. Other pages just had a line on it. And he got lucky. And on 1 or 2 of the pages, there was like a vertice. So it was like a line and another line coming off of it. Oh, and he didn't stop it. This is like 6 years ago at this point. But he didn't stop it. So I had to kind of kindly tell him that no matter how big his model was, this was probably not the best way to build it. So, but yeah, that scale is important.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So the scale to fit button, as much as I usually hate it on printers, is probably a good thing if you're talking about a city. So, no shirt, no podcast. Yeah, shirt, so podcast. Yes, we're keeping the shirt.
But what about pants?
Pants are definitely optional with this camera level.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But if this is ever a team podcast where there's me and Steve, pants are always going to be worn.
Yes.
So that's our promise to you. We will always have pants on.
I can't promise pants.
I can't promise pants if there's nobody else here but me. But it is my basement. If I'm really going to live up to the internet geek standard, first of all, I'm going to have to broadcast from my parents' basement, so I'm going to actually have to go over to their house. And then I'm going to have to, start dressing down a little.
And before you know it, it might cut off, like, right here on you. And they don't know.
It's just like, I'm just going to wear, like, the suit that I'm going to, like, physically remove the rest of it and just be really comfortable that's just bad. All right. The next little thing is actually incredibly geeky, and we're getting a little bit more back on target and definitely a lot more work safe considering the subject matter. But what to expect from Windows 8? Now, have you seen anything on Windows 8 yet, other than what I have on the screen?
I've read about it, and I know there was actually something missing from all the previous issues.
What would you say is missing there, good buddy?
I would have to say the start button.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of missing the start button. I wish it was there. I don't think there was anything wrong with the format that they had before.
No.
I mean, it's kind of like when I first installed the latest version of Ubuntu, which I can show you at another point. They completely changed the desktops, and they had these floating windows now that show up, and you have to click through things. But you know what? People don't want to learn a new desktop situation. And the other thing that they're putting out there is the App Store. It's like everybody on Mac loves the App Store. Actually, most of the people that I know don't like the App Store. They wish that there was a way to get things other than through apps.
Right.
So it's like, I know people who think it's a good thing. It's a lot quicker and easier to get your applications, but at the same point in time, if you have to reinstall everything, it turns out to be a pain. So that's not really what we think would be a good idea here.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm pretty sure you get the same problem I do on my Droid phone. With the whole apps thing, is that I probably have about, I'd say, 10 to 11 apps on my phone. And it's at one point in time you get like 6 or 7 at a time, that say, this needs an update, this needs an update, and after a while it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, and they force you to update half the time. It's like, well, you can't use this unless you update to the latest version. You know what? I don't want things that stop me from doing other things on my computer. I'm almost fine with it on the phone as long as I can dial. But the issue that I'm going to have with my computer is, if my computer says, hey, you know what, Audacity needs to be updated. No, don't update Audacity, because when you update Audacity, and if I haven't changed any of my settings or haven't saved any of them, the next time I record a podcast, everybody could be talking like this, and that would just be bad.
I think so.
I mean, it might be kind of funny, but, it would be a little bit weird.
It'd be our Helium edition.
CaffiNation.com. The Chipmunk edition here at the CaffiNation Podcast. But or we could do, what's the other one? The sodium. The one that they did on one of the radio stations around here, it's the one where it's the opposite of helium, so it drops your voice down really low. So we'll find it, another one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it would be interesting. But I like the App Store idea, but I don't think you should be forced into using it as your sole method. And unless there's a classic mode, I'm going to have so many professors, people who haven't still gotten the handle of Windows XP, that are going to cry if we move to Windows 8. Because, I mean, the entire way that the screen is set up is so different. Yeah. It's great for an Xbox. It's great for a phone. But your computer isn't a touch interface. Like, I hope that the keyboard never goes away, because as much as the on-screen keyboard's all right, I like having a physical keyboard, at least on my computer. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you're just figuring it out with the Kindle. I mean, it's great. But there's that point where you just want to be able to...
Yeah, it's like after a while you're typing, it's like, you know what, where's the keyboard?
Yeah. Yeah, we have... I actually had a service tech with the CNC problem who said, so do you still have any computers running Windows XP? Because he couldn't get the software to run on Windows 7 with our security. And I said, no, Windows XP is out of service with Microsoft. He says, oh, we still recommend people use it with some things. So I went, that's a problem. Because Windows XP came out in 2001. So, I mean, that's 10 years old at this point. So if you haven't updated your software to something that's a little bit more compatible, that's just sad.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, I mean, I know that there's some people who don't like change, and that's why the classic mode exists in XP or in Windows 7. It's like you switch it to classic mode, and it looks 90% the same.
Yeah.
It functions pretty similar, too. So, all right, now we have a special guest here for today. This special guest is actually sitting to my right. So we're going to play his fun little theme song. We've got to make sure that it actually sets off and goes right. And then he's going to fire off.
Unfortunately, I can't hear it.
I know you can't, so I'm gonna have to... see, we're all going to work this out for the next time. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the one and fabulous place that is Steve's World.
Thank you for that introduction. And what this is actually something new we'll add to the show, which is a couple of fun facts that I find on the internet every day. And for today, I'll throw just 3 of them at you. And we'll start off with something a little easy that you'll remember. For instance, Yoo-hoo does not spoil, which is also pretty interesting fact, I believe.
I actually think Yoo-hoo not spoiling is slightly terrifying.
Oh, why? During the zombie apocalypse?
Yoo-hoo and Twinkies, right?
Actually, if you keep it in the sealed bottle, I believe it's glass. I don't know, but I'll have to research on the glass or plastic, whatever one works. But I believe it's the glass that actually works a lot more on not spoiling. Now you know. Let's go on.
Joe.
Let's go on to another fact. This is actually, I think, would be a money saver on a few things. Diet Coke and Coke Zero are actually the same beverage. The only slight difference is the 0.5 calories between the two.
So where do they get the 0.5 calories? Is it like somebody forgets to clip their fingernails?
I think so, or maybe a piece of hair just drops off.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, if you think that's disgusting, how about this one? This is the last one for today.
All right.
A British artist by the name of Jessica Harrison has actually made a bunch of really odd and unsettling mouth eyes. And what this actually is she made fake eyelashes out of fly legs.
All right, now we're going to have to see if I can actually zoom in on this one. So get your Feast of Steve there, and then we're going to move around so that you can actually see. Yeah, that is not only disgusting, that's more than a little terrifying. So apparently Steve's World is populated by very strange, and we're not even going to go wonderful on this one, but things. But thank you so much for the visit to Steve's World this time.
That's right.
All right, so I had a little bit of the Legend of Zelda playing in the background on that one, and it kind of cut off halfway through. So I will work it out so that we work it out. Okay?
Next time.
All right, so thank you for Steve's World. All right, next little thing that we got for you here is the food and caffeinated bits, and we're going to hit Steve back again on this next one. This is back once again with the Renegade Master.
I like that.
I think that's what we should use, because that's going to be your ill behavior.
And we'll start off with a little gin and Titanic. And what this is basically ice cubes in the shape of the Titanic, which is actually pretty neat.
I like that. I know we were going to talk about this a while ago, and I don't think we ever came to the came down to finding a really fun place for this thing to live. At only $7.95, I don't think it's that bad of a deal either.
No, I mean you get yourself some icebergs, some ships. You got it all set.
And then what kind of gym would you recommend?
Tanqueray. Smashing.
All right, Steve has a habit when we go out. He is a Tanqueray and tonic man, almost on par, like immediately right there.
That's right.
So that's exactly how you will find him at any bar.
That's right.
All right, now the next little fun thing we had was actually sent to me by the fine folks at Pete's Coffee. Pete's Coffee, which if you remember or seen on the past episodes, every once in a while they'll send in a fun little blend. This time they're actually sending us in a contest, so we'd like to direct you over there if you'd like to see what they have about there. But Pete's Coffee is actually allowing you to win a trip to the Monte Alegre estate in Brazil. So if you like coffee so much that you can go visit it, there you go now. So you head on over to their page at petescoffee.com, which we're actually going to shoot you the fun little email or a fun little link on there so you can get on over there and enter it in. But actually, if you are a coffee aficionado, you can go through and enter in by answering trivia questions about coffee. And the more things you answer, the more times you can enter. I haven't entered yet. So I don't know exactly how much my large array of knowledge isn't always, let's just say, mission critical knowledge. So I know a lot of the crazy stuff, but I think this is a really cool thing, and I would actually like to see a lot more coffee roasters, large and small, start to pay homage to the people who actually fund and farm that. Well, we're the people who fund it, but people who farm the coffee, because I think that's really cool. And actually getting to visit some of these places, can really kind of give you a really true appreciation for how much work actually goes into one cup of coffee. So I think that's awesome. I wanted to share that with the group. All right, next little thing that we got for you here, yet another Stevie story.
Yeah, and somehow it involves another drink.
Lush.
And what we're talking about here is Paul actually found this during his trips through the internet, and it's called the Ganondorf, which is a Legend of Zelda cocktail, which involves black Sambuca, Myers rum, Grand Marnier, apple juice, and club soda, which actually sounds pretty tasty.
Yeah, I like the idea, and I'm a big guy on trying new and interesting cocktails, but I've never heard of black Sambuca versus regular Sambuca. I don't know what the difference is. So, I mean, and any of the things we could say after that would probably not be good.
No.
But it's one of those things, like, maybe Sambuca already tastes like licorice.
Right.
So, black licorice is just more natural licorice, I guess, as opposed to the red. I don't know. I mean, I never really thought that there was that much difference between the two. I mean, black licorice tastes stronger.
Right.
But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, well, I think that would be a really cool thing to put out there, but, I'd like to see. I like the fact that they actually have a quote from Ganondorf in there. By the way, what is OOT?
Oot?
No. Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. No, I think it's Ocarina of Time. Just putting it out there.
It is.
But oot. Fantastic. There. So now we go. CaffiNation oot. Oot, oot. All right, so you're supposed to shake all the ingredients into a glass. It says, pathetic little fool, do you realize who you're dealing with? I am Ganondorf, and I will soon rule the world. Apparently not, because he doesn't really ever follow through.
No.
I mean, since Zelda has had, Link and Zelda have had so many different adventures over the years, and the mic just totally turned away from me. Wow, the mic's even done listening to me. But since they've had so many adventures over the years, wouldn't it be cool if you could see something like a little bit of Grendel, where they flip the story around and it's told from, like, Ganondorf's side, where, like, these good-for-nothing do-gooders keep messing up my plans, and it's like I'm the rightful owner or the rightful ruler or something.
That might actually be a neat idea to play, Legend of Zelda, his side of the story.
I don't even know if it would be the Legend of Zelda. It would be like Ganondorf's Trials or something like that. I mean, is he like pretty much the main enemy through all of them?
He is the main enemy through every single one of them.
He is the Bowser.
I mean, you have your small bosses here and there But in the end, he is the main guy. He is Bowser of Legend of Zelda.
That's some cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we need to get people. We have people who listen to us and people who watch us, but we need people in the industry kind of people. Right here, you got comic gold. You have great. This idea could sell.
It could. We need to patent it.
Patented. That's it. This episode's not going to be under Creative Commons. This one's going to be under copyright. Not copyleft. This is copyright because that's how I feel about it. All right. The next little thing, another really goofy thing. This is just a bad overall humor episode. I'm the bad humor man. All right. I like my coffee like I like my punk, and that's black coffee. I love this. I think it's a fun thing. It's a takeoff on the black flag thing, and it's just all rolled up into a fun little coffee mug. I like coffee mugs. I just have so many of them that I've had to start migrating some of the ones to work. Mm-hmm. So I keep migrating the ones that are, I guess, politically and socially neutral. So it's ones that can't make any statement whatsoever. So that, if somebody comes in for coffee, it's not like I'm making some kind of statement to them when I hand them the mug. Not that I have any other ones, but there's also some funds like fuzzy puppies. I have another one that's the naked mole rat, just because I like that one.
Yeah. I've seen that.
that was a fan favorite. And I have my Smurf birthday mug, which I use every year on my birthday.
Your Smurf?
My Smurf birthday mug. It will be on the next episode. I'm going to use it. I'm going to have it. It's going to be like my Crunk cup with a Smurf cup. That's right, my Smurf cup. Smurf that. Smurf right. Wow, we're really off topic now.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't even know where the topic is. You want to fire a flare up or anything?
Yeah, we're talking about the black coffee.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
Yeah, I know you.
All right, we have another special story out here directly for the editor and owner of INeedCoffee.com. But this is some fun stuff and some absolutely wonderful stuff that we're passing along to Michael Allen Smith. He is a huge fan of one wonderful show called Parks and Recreations, and he likes Ron Swanson. So give me all the bacon and eggs you have, Ron Binking Swanson. So I have that up there. It's just there as a tribute to the people who like that show. I've seen a couple of clips. I've seen a couple of the shows. It's really funny, and that's pretty much all you need. All right, and now the last little thing that we got for you here on today's CaffiNation podcast
is the cheeseburger stool set.
Paradise.
And you know what? For $160, I sent on a cheeseburger. No, thank you.
You know what? It does not have mustard and onion, and it does not cost anything nice.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, I like it. It's a great idea. It's one of those things like you'd find on Pinterest.
Yeah.
To bring it full circle. It's like you'd find it, you say, wow, that's really cool. There's no place in my house that a cheeseburger and two mini little... That even could be the Whopper and the Whopper Jr. from the Goofy commercials. But there's no place that those could live unless, of course, you have a fry stand media rack. And then he could just put it in like a junk food themed room.
Yeah.
If that's really your thing. I mean, I liked fries so much at one point that I actually had a hat that I wore during the winter that had fries written around the outside. But it just said French fries all the way. I still have that, too. I'm going to wear my Smurf cup and my French fry hat.
You're going to wear your Smurf cup?
I'm going to wear my Smurf cup. It's going to be under the hat. That's how it's going to work out. All right. It's been a punchy episode. I think we're just going to call it a night here. I'd like to thank everybody who stopped by for the live chat. I'd like to thank very much Daily Demitas and Valley Man, who were their wonderful selves again in the chat, keeping up the yucks, and we just try and keep up with the pace of the episode.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll remember to push play so you can get the entirety of the fun little episode. But I'm actually going to push out the video episode this week so that you can see the entirety of the nonsense that goes on. So that way, if you happen to miss it, you'll be able to catch it. This one's going to be over on YouTube because it's actually going to be a lot prettier over there, and you get to see all the majesty that is this. And that.
And this?
Yeah. Majesty here. That's what it is. All right. We're going to actually put some magic into this and make it work. But thank you ever so much for listening, and stay caffeinated, people. All right, that ends the audio tour / tribute for today's show. Thank you ever so much for listening. We're going to peace out and see if we can piece together the rest of the episode. 1,000 pardons for actually messing that up. I cannot believe it's like, halfway through the first or third story, roughly.
Yeah.
Steve looks over at me and then points to his laptop where the Ustream thing's going, and it's just a blank screen. And I'm looking at it, and I was like, well, that just doesn't look right. And then, that's a little rough there. So, yeah, we're trying.
Good thing I saw that.
Thank you very much there, Steve, or else everybody just would have booked off. I think we started, I don't know, sometimes I really wish we could save the chat along with this. We started at 9:35. And we were sitting here alone doing nothing for about 10 minutes while we got everything in order. We were just making sure we had the camera on. And then it took from 9:43 when Daily Demitas showed up and said, is she late, up until 9:51 or 9:55 when we actually realized that the episode hadn't started yet online. Wow. So sorry about that. That was 15 minutes. So yeah, that I think we're done for the day. So peace out, people. Thank you very much for watching.